Back with another product review from Hansshow. This time it is the Model S or X styled version of Yoke for your Tesla Model 3 or Y. So it looks pretty cool. This one looks amazing. You can see over here we've got the previous one that I had. It's got Alcantara leather here. This one comes with everything, but there is a disclaimer, and so the disclaimer is this harness, buttons, control, etc. are freebies and are not covered under warranty. If the buttons, harness, or control box don't work, use your own steering wheel accessories, so the buttons that are in your existing steering wheel. So I took a look at this. It's nice. It's got the buttons here. It's got the horn piece. This is the one plug for controlling everything. So it looks like everything is here, but if we look deep into this pocket here, it does have this black wire. You can see from this one here, this is the wire for the heating of the steering wheel. So that's what this is. If we take a look, it's probably the same heating one, but I'm not sure. I think there is a control box. I just don't know if it plugs in like this. So I'll have to take a look at when I take the steering wheel out. But I want to show you the airbag. So this is the original airbag, the original one that I had before. I got them to send me a new one. You can see it has the stitching, it's leather, and a chrome tee. So this one looks a lot better than the stock one. You can get it in white, you can get it in Alcantara leather or Napa leather. This is the one I got for this situation. And then you can see here the tools you're going to need is a Allen key with a long bar to take the nut off that holds the steering wheel, which goes right there, a socket wrench, and then this is a T25 that's used to remove those screws down there. Now there may be some other screws I'll have to take apart, but these are the general tools you're going to need. And so let's go ahead, we'll go out to the car and we'll take that steering wheel off. I'll show you how to do that. Now I did make a modification. Another thing that Hansshow does now include is just a flat screwdriver, and let me just show you what I've done. I've gone and just filed the bit off on the end so that it's not as flat. And the reason I did it is when you put this, so you can see there that it's got that edge to it. So when you're moving this wire, it holds onto it. So you see it just holds onto it. Whereas if you put a flat edge, it kind of like comes off. So this makes it easier. So you can see I did that to a second screwdriver so that I can push on both sides at the same time. And what that does is it pulls that wire out of the way and unlocks the airbag. And you have to do it on the bottom as well. So it kind of pivots off of that bottom part, but what you're doing is you're trying to open both at the same time, and then this will unlock the pin. So again, what I did was I just put a little bit of an edge on that with a file to lock it, so it makes it easier, because it did the last couple times I've had some difficulty trying to get that locking mechanism off, so that helps quite a bit. And this took no effort at all. Anyway, so let's go ahead, we'll take off that steering wheel. So now that we've got inside the car here, there's a couple things. One, we need to move the steering wheel to get access to it. So we just want to make sure that it's lined up properly. So we'll just put it like that so it's straight. Makes it easier for when you're doing the screwdrivers. And the second is we need to turn the car off. So we can, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go ahead and hit this car, go to safety, power off car, and then power off car, and then wait for it to power off. But the problem is if you ever touch the steering wheel, it'll just come back on. So normally what I would do is go and disconnect the negative battery from the car, and then disconnect the high voltage battery in the back underneath the rear right seat. But for this time, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my car into service mode. And that way I can validate that the buttons are working properly before I do everything. So to put it in service mode, you'll hit the car, go to software, and on the Model 3, you're going to hold that for 3 seconds. And then put in service as the password, and you're going to enable this mode. And now you'll see we've got a red mark all the way around it. Now the reason I did this is because the last time I did this whole swap and I had disconnected the battery, when I put everything back together and turned it on, there was a problem with the module, and so the buttons weren't working, the horn wasn't working or anything. Anyway, let's go ahead and we will take the 2 screwdrivers and we'll stick them in the holes. 1, 2, and you're going to find that wire on both sides. So you got the right, the left side is done. There we go. Definitely makes a difference having these cuts in the screwdrivers. And then we're just going to go ahead and pull this out. And so what we have here are 2 plugs that we need to take off. One is the airbag, and the second is the buttons and horn. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take off the airbag. So there we go. Pretty simple. And then we're going to disconnect the horn, heating, steering wheel, and these buttons. It's all on this one other plug. So we'll pull that off. There we go. So we've got that unplugged. And so here's the warning that I was getting before, which is steering wheel, button, control buttons, horn unavailable. It's because this was not connected properly. So underneath here, there's a control box. I can see the wire right here. So I just need to put that box in on the new steering wheel. So let's go ahead. We'll take this steering wheel off. There we go. So there's the big nuts. We'll put that to the side. And then you can just wiggle it off. Now if it's tight for you, you can kind of bang on it a bit. Mine's come off a few times, so it's just a wiggle. And there we go. So let's go get to the bench and we will get the control box that's underneath this piece, which means we have to take this whole unit out. So we'll go ahead and we'll take care of that. We have the 2 steering wheels here. We've got the new Yoke steering wheel that we have, and we've got this one here. They both have all the buttons and everything, but this one has the control box that plugs into this wire right here. So we're going to have to take that apart. To do that, we're going to use this T25 to remove the 4 screws that hold this all in place. But we have to release the back part here. So there's a plastic clip that holds those pieces in. We just knock them down just so that they come loose. There we go. That's one. That's 2. And this is just the horn mechanism. So we release it from there. And what that does is release this piece here, so it's loose. And now we're just going to remove the 4 T25s. So I'll just go ahead and do that. This whole piece comes off, and it's easiest to pry it up from the bottom first piece. So we'll pry this up like that. And then we can unclip it from the sides. There we go. Just be gentle with it. It is plastic. Yeah, that's right. It kind of holds in on this piece right there. So once you've got that whole piece off, we can turn it over, and you can see this box right here is that plug right there. So we just need to remove this plug. So we'll start by unplugging that cable. So a T10. So we'll undo that screw. And this screw. And there we go. That's the control box that you need to put in yours. So when you go to replace this, there's a little clip right here. It goes in that slot right there and then gets bolted in. So I'm hoping it's the same on that one. We'll have to take a look and see. So put this to the side. I guess what I'll do is take this cover off, find out where it sits. So again, this should be a T25. Again, same thing, we have to release the horn mechanism. Just makes it so you can get to all the screws. Again, just pull from the bottom. Let's try releasing this. There we go. And then let's do the same on this side. So it's pretty tight in there. There we go. I'm just going to move that out of the way and then see if this actually fits in here. There's nowhere. I've moved everything out of the way, and you can see that the only way you can get that to sit is right in there, like that. And then this has to plug in. So you're going to have to plug that in first because there's no way to plug it in. So put that like that. And then put this in place. And then these wires will go over like that. And then this one's going to have to go down there. Okay, so let's do a quick look at that. You can see to get the control box in there, you have to place it in there and plug this piece in first. So it is a really tight fit. Let's see if we can get it back together. So this part's going to come back down. These are going to be in here. It's definitely a lot of work to get this in there. And it's really tight too, so just going to make sure that you keep all the wires out of the way. And as you bring this down, just make sure that nothing's getting in the way. Same thing, these all just have to go slowly back into place. Seems like it's locking in there good. We've got everything loose. All the wires are good. This wire's in the right place. This should plug into that, so it looks like it. So let's go ahead and we'll put those screws back in. Again, you just have to make sure you get the horn mechanism out of the way as you're putting in each of the screws. A little bit hard to show you at the same time. Okay, so I've got the two top ones in place. Now the bottom one's going to have to push it in just a bit. There we go, that's one. And now we're just going to tighten those screws in now that we've got all four in. Feels like it's all secured. And the last step is to plug in the horn mechanism back into the slots. So we'll get the bottom one first. There we go. Put this right one and the left one. We can flip it over and we can take a look that they are all in place. It moves like it's supposed to. Okay. So there it is, the new steering wheel. Now, again, that control box, they didn't send one with it. It says they send one potentially with it. I didn't get one. If you have this control box in place, you may be able to just go ahead and just plug this in. I wasn't able to. I noticed this when I was testing out this steering wheel. So anyway, next step is to go ahead and put this back on the car. It should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so now that I've got this all taken care of, all the wiring is in there. You can see right here I've got that error message that the steering wheel plug is unplugged. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put this in place. So we've got it in place, and I'm going to go ahead and plug in this wire just to make sure that everything functions correctly. So watch for that message right there. So that's telling me the wheels and the horn are functioning properly. So let's go ahead and we'll put this nut back on. So always start your nuts by hand so you don't cross thread. And we'll go ahead and tighten this up. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, you should always pull down on the bar, not up, because you could go up and break the glass. So we'll go ahead and put that in place, and then we'll just tighten this up. There we go. That's more than tight. So we go. I kind of like how this one is. I don't know what it'll be like down there. Everything seems to be out of the way. So if you want to replace the cover, which I've done in the past, what you need to do is, you can see here, is we have these tabs that are holding this on. So you can open this up and then put like some type of plastic underneath here, like a piece of a milk jug, and slide it over so it's now locked open, and do that for every one of them, and then just pull this off. So we get the airbag, put it in place, just put this in. It's not in there. There we go. And it's working. Okay, so I've had the Model S X replica yoke installed in my Tesla Model 3. It's a 2022 long range, and here are my thoughts on it. It's a little bit smaller than the other yoke that I tried, which allows for easy access to getting in and out of the car. Turning seems to be no problem at all. It does feel a little bit different because these parts right here, they're kind of flat on the top and the bottom, sort of a round steering wheel. But in general, I like this one better than the other one that I had. Just a little bit smaller, just that fraction smaller makes it easier for getting in and out if you leave the steering wheel in the straightforward piece. Now, if you watch my other video, what I do is I turn the steering wheel to the left a bit, and then it doesn't make any difference. It's super easy to get in and out of the car. Now, for just general driving, perfect on the highway, you just put your hand right here, or if you're right-handed, you put it there and you just kind of like rest it there. So that way when you're in autopilot, you're not getting the nag at all. It's very comfortable just to leave your hand sitting here, either one. If you're driving on the highway, if you're a two-handed person, you would be using it like this. Again, it's very comfortable like this compared to having your hands up there. So just on the highway, I normally just sit like this. Now, they did give me a different cover for my airbag. I like this one because if I do go back to either my round steering wheel or to the other yoke steering wheel, this looks better on those two wheels. So I do like the stitching. Other than that, it's great. It's got lots of view. So would I buy this? Well, it depends. There is a bit of a learning curve when you're driving in a parking lot, but in general, I really do like these yoke steering wheels. Now, if you watch a lot of the Model S and X owners, when they've gotten their yoke steering wheel, one of the things they do is they put on the round steering wheel to get back to the original. So it seems like Model 3s and Ys are trying to go to the yoke, and then if you own a Model S or an X, you're wanting the round steering wheel. So it's always better on the other side. So anyway, yeah, I like this steering wheel. It's pretty nice. Again, I can see the little screen that I have right here. If I have everything out of the way over here, it's perfect as well. Gives you full view of the road. There's no steering wheel in your way, even though that's not really that bad with the original steering wheel. But it is an improvement. Now again, the challenge is just parking lot driving, because normally you would like let it spin in your hands as it's correcting its steering. You can't do that with the yoke. So like if we're going through this traffic circle, you can see I just do a quick turn like this, back like that, and then I can turn back. Now you could do the same thing with round steering wheel, but you'll be turning it like this. So yeah, I like the yoke steering wheels. I find them comfortable on the highway. Again, in the city it's fine. It's just parking lot maneuvers that are the challenge. Thanks for watching.